All right, let's dive into the incredible world of open data. Now, before we get started, we have to give a huge thank you to Pr Abdessamed Réda. His foundational work is really the backbone for this entire explainer. Okay, let's get into it.
You know, it's pretty obvious we're living in a world that is just saturated with data. I mean, think about it for a second. Everything's moving online, social media is buzzing 24/7, and we've got this explosion of big data and AI. All of this is cranking out information so fast we can barely keep up, let alone make sense of it all. And that's the new reality that really sets the stage for our conversation today.
So inside this massive, kind of chaotic ocean of information, a really powerful movement has started to take shape. This is where things get interesting. So let's break down exactly what we mean when we talk about open data.
Now, this definition might seem simple, but wow, it packs a punch. See, open data isn't just about tossing data out there. It's about making it radically accessible. The key words here are freely available, reusable format, and this is the big one, without restrictions. This is data that's been set free, for anyone to use for absolutely anything. So why even bother with all this? Well, the reasons are huge. Open data is a total game changer for transparency. It lets us peek behind the curtain and see how our governments are actually working. It unlocks just incredible commercial and social value, creating brand new businesses and services. And it empowers all of us, encouraging everything from online participation to a whole new style of collaborative governing. And this isn't just some vague, idealistic dream. The guy who invented the World Wide Web itself, Tim Berners-Lee, he actually came up with a way to measure how open data truly is. His 5-star system gives us a really practical way to grade the quality and, more importantly, the usability of data. It's like a roadmap for how to share information in the most effective way possible.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's jump into some amazing examples of open data in action, from the global stage all the way down to your own neighborhood.
This whole movement didn't just appear overnight. It's been building for decades. It really got its start in the early 2000s with private projects we all use, like Wikipedia. Then, in 2004, you got these massive community efforts like OpenStreetMap. By 2009, M-Pesa in Kenya was showing the world the economic power of financial data. And by 2019, governments were all in, launching things like the EU's official open data portal. And the scale we're talking about now is just staggering. I mean, just look at the EU's portal. A whopping 22% of their datasets are about government and the public sector. Another huge slice is for the economy and finance. This isn't just some niche random information. This is the core data that makes our entire society function.
Let's compare two totally different ways this plays out. On one hand, you've got something like OpenStreetMap, a truly global effort with almost 2 million people all chipping in to build a map for the entire world. And on the other hand, you have a really targeted project like M-Pesa in Kenya. It uses anonymized financial data to create brand new services and give people access to credit who never had it before. Two different scales, both making a massive impact.
Okay, now let's bring it right down to the local level with a really cool idea. What if we could redesign our cities to actually fit our daily lives? That's the big question behind this concept of the 15-minute city.
So how on earth is that even possible? Well, you guessed it, open data. Cities like Paris and Barcelona are using open data on transportation, housing, and public services to completely rethink how they plan their communities. Now, this needs really high-quality, interoperable data, the kind that gets a high score on that 5-star scale, so they can layer all this different information together. By figuring out exactly where people are and what they need, they can create these self-sufficient, sustainable neighborhoods that just make life better for everyone.
As incredible as all these examples are, we're honestly just scratching the surface. To unlock the full potential of open data, we've got to face some pretty big, interconnected challenges.
So, what's holding us back from getting there? Well, let's be honest, it's not all smooth sailing. The roadblocks really fall into 5 different but connected areas. Let's break them down.
First up, the political and legal stuff. Without strong leaders, clear laws, and real support for the people actually providing the data, even the best ideas are going to hit a wall. It really has to start from the top.
Next, we've got the technical challenge. I mean, data's pretty useless if you can't find it, understand it, or do anything with it, right? We need solid, easy-to-use platforms, and, this is super important, high-quality metadata. That's basically the data about the data that tells us what we're even looking at.
Then there's the organizational side of things. Organizations themselves have to adapt.
They need clear rules for their data, they need to get different departments to actually talk to each other, and they need real ways to measure if their open data projects are even working.
And of course, you've got the economic challenges. Making data high quality isn't free. It takes steady funding to keep it going. But just as important, it means we have to invest in people, in the skilled pros who can actually work with, analyze, and make sense of all this information.
And finally, and this might be the most important one, we have the social and cultural challenge. We need to build what's called open data literacy, which is just a fancy way of saying we need to make sure everyone, citizens, businesses, government, knows how to use this amazing resource. And we have to work really hard to make sure that the benefits of all this are shared by everybody, not just a select few.
So, where do we go from here? It really boils down to two key things. First, we've got to be smart about this and focus on opening up the data that's going to give us the biggest bang for our buck in a data-driven economy. And second, this has to be a team sport. We need real, long-term cooperation between the government, all of us as citizens, and the business world.
When you get right down to it, the potential of open data is just undeniable. It's this incredibly valuable resource just sitting there, waiting for us. So the only real question left, the one we want to leave you with, is this: what are we as a society going to choose to build with it?